Hi everyone, I am Sreekanth. We are discussing programming in C language. The topic is about basics of C programming language. Agenda of this session is about what is block and suitable examples of block and what types of blocks supported by C programming language. We'll discuss with the real-time examples. What is a block? A block or code block is a lexical structure of source code which is grouped together. Blocks are a way of solving the scoping problem. A block is a program region containing definitions of variables and that delimits the regions where these definitions apply. Blocks consist of one or more declarations and statements. A programming language that permits the creation of blocks, including blocks nested within another or other blocks, is called a block structured programming language. C supports these block structured programming. Blocks are fundamentals to structured programming, where control structures are formed from blocks. The function of blocks in programming is to enable groups of statements to be treated as if they were one statement and to narrow the lexical scope of objects such as variables, procedures, and functions declared in a block so that they do not conflict with those having the same name used elsewhere. In a block structured programming language, the objects named in outer blocks are visible inside inner blocks. Any kind of variables declared outside of block, like outside, like outer blocks, that outer block value can accessed within the block, like inside inner blocks or nested blocks, unless they are masked by an object declared with the same name. A block consisting of a sequence of declarations followed by a sequence of statements and enclosed between begin and end. Open braces and closed braces represents what? A block. Within that we can write set of statements. In C, blocks are delimited by curly braces, open and closed curly braces. In C, scope is traditionally known as linkage or visibility, particularly for variables. C is a lexically scoped language with a global scope known as external linkage, a form of module scope or file scope known as internal linkage, and local scope within a function. Within a function, scopes can further be nested via block scope. In C programming language, a block is created using a pair of curly braces. So how we can achieve blocks in C programming? With the help of what? Curly braces. The beginning of the block is denoted by the open curly brace and the end is denoted by closing curly brace. So the blocks can achieve in C programming with the help of open and closed braces. It is generally used in what? Statement blocks, function blocks in C programming language. The block collects statements together into a single compound statements. Within a block, we may write multiple statements that grouped as a single compound statement. Example, we are using in C programming language these blocks like statement blocks, function blocks, control blocks, like that. Okay. See, this is the best examples for what? Blocks. Here I declared int main function. Like I declared one variable, local variable a is equals to 1. Here I created a one block. Within the block, I declared again a is equals to 2. See, which value is going to be print? Outer block consists what? A is equals to 1. The inside the block a is equals to 2. Here a is equals to a is a local variable in the outer block. Here a is the local variable in inner block. Even I declare the same name, but which value is going to be print here? The recent value, the recent declaration definition of a value is how much? 2. The block value of a is going to be print what? 2 only. The recent value, always remember in C programming language, the recent value, reinitialized value or recently declared and define the value, that value only is going to be print. A is equals to 2. Okay. And after completion of the block, again I am printing a value. Here outer value is available in the inner block, but this inner block value never available in outer side or outer block, because the scope of this variable can access only within the block. It cannot be visible, it cannot be accessed outside of the block. Here I'm printing a value. The a is declared and defined within a main function. The value of a is equals to 1, it's going to be prints a is equals to 1 only. So another example, like in the blocks, here I declared main function opening and closes. Here I created one block opening and closes. I'm printing one message, simply printf block 1. Okay, so assume it is a outer block or within a block called block 1. See, I created another block. Within the block, again I printing nested block 1 message. After that, again I created another block, nested block 2. Within that, again I created another message like nested block 3. See, we can create n number of nested blocks or inner blocks supported by what? C programming language. So it's going to be first prints block 1 message, after that nested block 1, after that nested block 2, so on, nested block 3. This is the output of what? Above example. So we go with one example, then you may understood much better understandability about blocks. Say how to create a new source file. Go to file menu, new, and select or click source file. Shortcut is Control plus N. Here I'm going to be writing what? Blocks example. Okay, block example in C. Next, I start for writing what? Header file hash include stdio.h, standard input output header file. Here I am using some white spaces, not required. For your understandability, I am giving the readability of the programs, I am increases. Okay, so I am start for writing main function. Either you go with the int main or void main. Okay, yeah, I better fine. So within that, I start for writing the blocks first. I'm going to be printing one message here, print f. I'm printing, it's a main function block. Okay, it's a main function block. See, it is also a block, but it is a function. It is also block. Open and closed braces is a block, but I declared within it is called a function. Functions are also achieved through these blocks. So statements, functions, controls can achieve through the block concepts in C programming language. Okay, here I am printing one message, main function block. Okay, save this application. The shortcut is go to file menu, click on save or alt Fs. So I'm saving the example. I created one folder called block. Within that, I'm writing example1.c. Either you go with block example1.c. So I'm saving the application with the name block example1.c. You may give any meaningful name. Okay, click on save. So once you save the application, go to execute menu, compile. Shortcut is F9. So once compilation is done, okay, here I forgot it to give semicolon. Okay, save this application, go to execute menu, compile. If anything missed, syntactic, the compiler is responsible to throw compile time errors. Okay, after that go to execute menu, click on run option. So it's going to be print one message, main function block. It's going to be execute what? Main function block. So now I start for writing now another block. See, this is about a block. I'm not written any function here. Within a function, I start for creating one block. Okay, so assume I'm printing one message here. The message is about block 1. Okay, simply I'm printing one message, block 1 it is. Fine. So if you want to print a new line, /n. Okay, I'm printing new line. Simply I'm printing one message, block 1. So it is called block. C supports this block. Okay, save this application, compile the application and run the application. So we got first cursor executes main function block. After that it executes block 1. Like that I may create nested block. Within the block 1 I create another block. Otherwise we may also create number of blocks. Okay, see, within the main function I'm creating another block, opening and closed. Within that I creating block 2. Okay, so observe, I'm creating here another block. Within the main function we may create n number of blocks. Any changes made in the application, recompile and rerun the application. Yes, it's going to be print block 1 and block 2. Okay, so within a block 1 I may create nested blocks. Okay, so observe, I'm creating the nested blocks here. Within a block 1 I'm going to be creating another block. Okay, so this is called, either we may call inner block or nested block. For simple terminology, I'm using inner block 1. So where I created this inner block 1, I created this inner block within a another block. This is called block 1. With where I created inner block 1, I created inner block 1 within the block 1. So we may call it is a inner block or nested block. Okay, save this application, go to execute menu, compile, and you can rerun the applications. You got it? So yeah, first it going to be prints block 1. Within a block 1, I am created another block called inner block 1. After that, it going to be control come out from the inner block, come out from the block 1, and it going to print the next block called block 2. See how the cursor is going to be executing here. The cursor is going to be executing sequentially from top to bottom. From it going to be started with the main function and end with the main function, terminates from with the main function. Okay, see I try to create like n number of blocks. I'm going to be creating another blocks in inner block 1. Okay, see this is called nested block. So I'm creating another block here. So inner block 2, you may create n number of blocks in this manner. Okay, so for differentiation, this block 1, so where it going to open and close, this block 1 is going to be opening and closing here. Within that I created one inner block, within that I created another inner block 1, block 2, inner block 2, like that. Okay, so I'm going to be differentiating this block 1 and block 2. I'm giving here one more message, simply end block 1. Okay, say end block 1. I'm giving one message. Okay, after that it starts with what, block 2. So after that I'm giving one more message here, thank you Sreekanth. So this is an example for what, blocks. Okay, thank you Sreekanth. Here thank you Sreekanth is nothing but what, end of the C programming. It's a statement N or end of the program. I'm giving one message, thank you Sreekanth. Fine, see here I created how many blocks here, the block 1, within that nested block called inner block 1. After that again I nested with another block called inner block 2. Like that we may create n number of inner and nested blocks supported by C programming language. See not only supports nested blocks, block, inner block 1, inner block 2, so on, inner block n. C supports multiple blocks like block 1, block 2, so on, block 3. Like every block may consist several inner blocks. Okay, so save this application, recompile. Any changes made must be recompile the application and rerun the application. So try to observe, first executes what, main function block, because the cursor starts from main. After that it executes block 1. After that it enters to the nested block called inner block 1. After that it executes inner block 2. Once completed inner block 2, it terminates inner block 2, inner block 1, block 1, and moves to the next statement of main function called end block 1. After that I created again another block called block 2. After that end of the statement called thank you Sreekanth. So this is about blocks in C programming language. Okay, here I try to explain one more thing. If you go with the next high level programming languages, there these blocks are called instance block, they may call. After that it going to be supports another block called static block, but in C language static blocks are not supported. Suppose I try to create one more block called static. Static is a keyword in C programming. So I try to create one block called static, so it's going to be throw an error. Okay, but next high level programming languages it supports static block. So I try to create another block called static block 1. I try to print, but compiler is going to be throw a compile time error. What is that error? Expected identifier for before token, like in function main. So we are getting one error because static blocks are not supported. So if you try to close like that, the static is going to be closing, but this block is what, normal or normal a block in a C programming. Okay, so it's going to be compile it, but it's going to be throws an error like what is the warning. It's going to be throws not an error, warning like useless storage class specifiers in empty declaration. See, it means the static what I declared and terminated, it is an empty static declaration. Okay, don't think it is a static block. So it is a static declaration is empty and closed it. It is normal block in the C programming. C does not support what static block. Okay, I try to place a comment about this static block because static blocks are not supported in C programming language. But if you go with the next high level programming languages like Java, their static blocks also supported in the Java programming. So this is about the one example about block. What is a block? See, the generally C supports what this block is structured, where we are using this block. The blocks generally used in the functions, statements, controls in the C programming language. And also we can use these blocks generally in previous programmings. They use these blocks for what? Initializations, declaration, definition and initialization, and default statement printing. Okay, here I use these blocks for an example how these blocks are nested, how the blocks are going to be printed. Okay, so I go with another example with the variables, how this variable scope is visible within an outer block and inner block. In this example just I printed what the statements of main function block and like one outer block one inner block to so on, inner block n and another block 2 and some examples. Just I'm printing a statement in this example. We'll go with another example with what variable scope of the blocks. Fine, so I try to recompile this application and rerun this application. So run the application. See, this is about what block example, simple block example 1. So I go with the another example, go to file menu, click on new source file. I create a new file, block example 2. Okay, so instead of writing these messages, yeah, I try to declare one variable here, global variable. So as we discussed in the previous video sessions, I clearly explained about what is local variable, what is global variable with suitable examples and differences. If you missed the session, kindly go through that video sessions. Okay, here I declared one global variable. Here A is the variable name, int is the data type, 10 is the value of A, where I declare this A outside of the function. This such type of variables are called global variables. See, this global variable A can access anywhere within the program, anywhere within the source code, like within a main function, within a block. I try to print this A value within a main function first. I try to print A value. A value I'm printing within a main function. Okay, A value is equals to A value is the output message. Percentile D represents what? Format specifiers of integral type. Okay, new line. I'm printing which value? A value. A is the output variable. But where I declared A is a global variable. I declared outside of the main function. Okay, so this is about printing the A value in the within a function, but where I declared outside the main function, the global variable can access and print anywhere in the program. Save this application. I try to give block example2.c. See, observe, I'm giving the name called block example2.c. You may give any meaningful name while saving the application. So I try to compile the application. There is no errors. You try to run the application. So we got it. The message A value is equals to 10. Where I'm printing this A value within a main function. Okay, if you want get much clarity here, I'm giving another message here. Main function. Within a main function, I'm printing A value. Similarly, I try to print this A value within a block. Okay, I'm printing a message here, block 1. So within a block 1, I'm printing A value. So try to understand here. I'm printing this global variable A value within a function within a block. Okay, so observe, I try to recompile this application and rerun this application. Observe, this A value declared, defined and initialized outside of the main function, but where I am printing within a main function. After that, similarly, I am printing A value within a block, means the global variable is available function and blocks. Okay, fine. Similarly, I try to print this A value within a inner block. So observe, I'm printing this inner block 1. A value is printing in a inner block 1. And similarly, I try to print inner block 2. Okay. So inner block 2. Here I'm writing this message for our understandability. Where this A value, which A value is printing. You may give any meaningful name. So I given simply inner block to A value. What it means, when it running the application, I may understood, okay, which block A value is going to be printed. Okay. So observe now, I try to recompile the application, I modified and rerun the application. So observe, main A value is going to be printed within a block 1 A value is printed. After that, inner block 1 value printed, inner block 2 A value is printed. See, it means the global variable is visible. The scope of the global variable is available within a main function, within a block, inner blocks like nested block 1, inner block 1, inner block 2, and so on. So I want to print the same A value with the block 2. Yes, we may print it. Okay. So I try to print here within the block 2. I try to print block 2. Within a block 2 also I am printing a value. So observe. So I try to give after end block. I try to clear separate. You understood clearly about which block 1 values, which block 2 values are printing. Simply I am printing a message. See, this is just differentiating block 1 and block 2 values. Okay, without getting confusion. Save this application, compile this application, run this application. So observe, so this is about what main function. After that, block 1 and block 2. See, block 2 also printing the A value or not. So this is about what block, the global variable, the scope of the global variable can be access function within a function, and it can be accessed within a block, nested block, and inner block 1, inner block 2, so on, inner block n. See, that is advantage for using what global variables. See, not only function, main function, we may also access this global variable multiple custom user defined functions also, like function 1, function 2, so on, function n. Okay. So now I try to declare, define and initialize another variable called int. I try to print which value? B value. Assume the value equals to 20. So where I declare this B value, the B value is declared within a main function. What is the scope of this variable? The scope of that variable B value can be accessed within a function, within a main function only. We cannot access outside of the function. Okay. So I try to print this B value within a block 1. Okay, so I try to print A value is equals to percentile D. Similarly, instead of taking another output function or another output message printf, simply I am printing beside B value. Okay, here I am printing A value, B value. See, how many output variables are given? This percentile D indicates what? A, output variable A value. Next, again I given another output message B value equals to percentile D. So I try to give another output variable called B. Okay, this B output value is going to be printing in the B value in a sequential manner. First percentile D available here, then what is the first output variable I given? A, it going to be prints here. After that, the second format string is given B value equals to percentile D. The second output variable prints in the B value equals to percentile D. Here it going to be prints. Okay, just check it out. So this value is going to be available. B value is going to be available within a block, not only within a function. It is available within a blocks also. See, observe. Save this application, compile the application, and run the application. Observe. It is a main function, a value. It is a outer block like global variable. Here I declared B value equals to 20. It is a local variable. This variable is available what? Within a main function. The value can be B variable. The scope of the B variable can access within a main function and also within a block, nested blocks also. Okay, so observe here. It is a local variable. Local variable. So I try to print this local variable B value within a block. So I'm comma B variable. Okay, so I'm printed inner block 1, that B value. I'm also printing inner block 2. Here I try to conveying you this B is the local variable. The local variable B value can be printed within a function, main function, because where I declared within a main function. But this B variable also visible to the blocks within a function. Within a block like block 1 I am printing the B value, inner block like inner block 1 I'm printing B value, and another nested block or inner block called inner block 2, there also I'm printing. Means this B variable, even it is a local variable, that can be visible within a function and within a block. Nested blocks also it is visible and we may access it. Try to recompile this application and rerun the application. So observe, even B value is what? Local variable that is visible to the blocks declared within a function. Okay, like block 1 we may access, inner block 1 we may access, inner block 2 we may access. Clear? So this is about what blocks topic. And also print, we may also print this value block 2. Okay, so I have tried to print within a block 2, A comma B, and also print this B value within a function, main function. Okay, so here I'm going to be writing main function. It is main function. I'm printing main function. Which value I'm printing here? B value I'm printing. Okay, so you may get confused. Better here only I try to print this B variable. I try to declare here. Okay, so this B value I'm printing here. B value A comma B. See, within a main function I declared one variable called B, assigned, declared, defined and initialized the value equals to 20, that is available throughout the main function, that is available throughout the main function, that is available in block 1, nested block called inner block 1, and another block called inner block 2, and it is also available for another block 2 throughout the function. That scope of the B variable can be visible and we may access it. Okay, see, save this application, compile this application, there is no any errors, and rerun the application. So observe, this A value is a global variable, B value is a local variable. The B value can be accessed throughout the main function, included block 1, nested block called inner block 1, another nested block called inner block 2, and another block called block 2. Okay, suppose if I declared one variable int C is equals to 30. Okay, so I don't want to confuse more, just this is the last topic. Int C is equals to 30. I declared another variable. It is also about local variable, because within a block if I declared any variable, defined and initialized, that variables are called local variable. If I declared int C is equals to 30, okay, it is a local variable. Where I declared in the block or block 1. Okay, see, this int C is equals to 30 is visible only this block 1 and nested blocks. See, observe, I try to print this C value. So try to concentrate here. I'm printing C value. Okay, A comma B comma C. Like that, we may give sequential. Instead of printing multiple printf statements, we may embedded or enclosed all the output variables in a single statement. First, it's going to be prints A value here, where I declared percentile D. Second, percentile D indicates the second output variable called B. Third, percentile D indicates third output variable called C. I'm printing C value. Similarly, so observe, this C value I try to print in the inner block 2. I am not declared a C value within inner block 1 and inner block 2. Correct? Where I declare this C value? C value is declared, defined and initialized block 1, but it is visible to what? Inner block 1 and inner block 2. Okay, so observe, I try to print here C value in the inner block 1. Yes, it is visible. So I am printing C value. Yes, so this is about how how the scope of the C variable, local variable of block 1 is visible within a block 1 and inner block 1 and inner block 2. So try to save this application, compile this application and rerun this application. So observe, C value is declared block 1 and initialized, defined and initialized in block 1, but that is visible in nested blocks like inner block 1, inner block 2, so on, inner block n. But I try to print this C value outside of the block. So observe, this is a block, right? Within the block only I declared int C equals to 30. But I try to print this C value outside of the block. See, observe, I'm printing here C value. I try to print only C value here outside of the block. Okay, like end block 1, there I am printing C value. Immediately compiler is going to be throw an error, because where this C value is declared, this C value is going to be defined, declared and initialized within a block. But where I am printing, I'm printing outside of this block. Outside of the block I'm printing C variable. Is it visible to the compiler? No, right? See, observe, I try to compile the application. So immediately we may get error. What is the error? The error is C undeclared. Why? Because the scope of the C variable only access within a block, but I try to print outside of the block. Immediately we may get error, compile time error. What is an error? C undeclared. First use in this function. Each undeclared identifier is reported only once for each function it appears in. Like that we may get an error. See here, I try to conveying you all the scope of the variable. The scope of the local variable is visible only within a function or within a block. We cannot access outside of the block, but we may access that local variable even blocks, nested blocks of the particular function or block area, but we cannot access outside of that block. Is not possible. That scope of the variables are called local variable. Okay, so this is a difference between what global and local. Global means that global variable can access any number of functions defined in the source program. Okay, even multiple .c files. In the previous video session I explained with the extend keyword, right? See there I used declared, defined and initialized the variable and value in my header file, that is going to be included in another file, source file like .c file. There also I printed. But local variable scopes always within a block or function that cannot be accessed outside of the block and outside of the function. Okay, so this is what I want to convey here. So the last another case here, suppose here I declared int a value equals to 10. I try to redeclare in the main function. Okay, I try to reinitialize a value is equals to something 100. A already declared, defined and initialized globally. The value of the A equals to how much? 10. But I reinitialized A value equals to how much? 100. Then which value it going to be print within a main function or within a block? See, observe here. It going to be print which value? Always remember recent modified value. Even A is a global variable, initially assigned A equals to 10, but I reinitialized A value equals to how much? 100. Then it going to be prints which value? 100 only. It going to be prints which value? 100 only. Recently modified values only it going to be print. See, that is another important point of the reinitialize the value. Which value is going to be printed? Reinitialized value. Recently modified values only printed, but not first time initialized values cannot be printed. Suppose I declared another type, int a is equals to 200. I declared. See, already the value declared and initialized it globally and reinitialized as the main function. Again I'm redeclaring the variable. So just observe what happens in this situation. So just compile the application and rerun the application. Now tell me which value is going to be printed. A is equals to 100. 100 value is going to be printed or 200 value is going to be printed within a main function or blocks. Which value is going to be printed? Always remember recently modified value is going to be printed. Okay, yes, run the application. Say, observe, even I declared a value is equals to 10 globally. After that, I reinitialized a value equals to 100. But which value is going to be printed? Recently declared and providing definition value. Like recently I provided and declared, defined and initialized which value? 200. Always it going to be prints a value equals to 200 only. Recently modified value. Okay. See another last case. Suppose again I'm redeclaring a value within a block. I'm overriding that a value. See, I try to declare, defined and initialized a value equals to how much? 500. Then within a main function a value is going to be printed 200, but within a block a value is going to be printed how much now? 500. Like block, nested block, another nested block, the a value is going to be available how much? 500. So try to compile and run the application. So recompiling the application, there is no any errors. I try to run the application. Observe. So this is about initially a value is 10. After that I reinitialized a value equals to 100. Again, I provided declaration, definition, and initialization. A equals 200, A equals 200 only printing. That is available within a main function, within a block. But in the block one, I modified, I declared, defined, and reinitialized A value equals to how much? 500. Then that value is going to be available only within a block one, like a nested block and another nested block. But the a equals to 500 is not visible to block 2, and continuation or next statement of the main function is not available. Okay, why? Because the scope of this a value declared, defined and initialized within a block 1, that is available only this block only. Outside of the block is not possible. So this is the various cases I explained in detail with the block concept. Okay, I hope everyone is clear about what is global variable and what is local variable and what is a block and what is a function and what is the scope of the local variable and how to declare, define and initialize global and local variables, and how to reinitialize and how to redeclare, redefine and reinitialize local variables and block variables, and what is the scope of the block variable and what is the access availability or the region where that scope of the variable is available within a block or outside of the block or within a function, outside of the function, we declared in detail in this example program. Okay, so that's it for the block concept in C programming language. See, a block or code block is a lexical structure of source code which is grouped together. Okay, so in C programming language, a block is created using what? A pair of curly braces. If we go with some other programming language, there the syntax is going to be different. The concept remains same. The beginning of the block is denoted by the open curly braces and the end is denoted by the closing curly braces. The block collects what? Statements together into a single compound statements, like statement blocks, function blocks, control blocks are supported by C programming language. I discussed in detail with the examples what is the scope of the outer block local variable value, what is the scope of the block level declaration, definition, initialize local variable value with a suitable examples. And also I printed multiple nested blocks or inner blocks with a example with output. Okay, so that's it for today's session. We discussed in detail about what is a block and what is block code and what is the scope of that block of global variable value and local variable value. The global variable, always remember, the global variable can able to access and print anywhere throughout the source program. Not only a main function, multiple user defined functions also the global variable is visible and we can access, reinitialize and modify it. Okay, and coming to the block level, the block level whatever the values are declared, or outer block level within a function level whatever the values declared and initialized, that available, the scope of that variable is available within a outer block and inner block and nested blocks also. So this is about local variable and global variable at a block level. So we discuss these blocks at variables with suitable examples. Okay, that's it for today's session. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you all. If you like my videos, make it like and comment and share and subscribe my videos. Okay, thank you for watching my videos. Thank you all.